His book entitled Summarization in Any Subject has been published in 7 languages. Besides busy speaking engagement all around the world, and his book for the next 3 years, he still finds time to write, and his new book on homework practices in the 21st century will be released in 2015. He's currently working on his first young adult fiction novel. He has won many awards, one of which is Disney's American Teachers Award 1996, Outstanding English Teacher of the Nation. Rick comes all the way from Virginia, where he lives with his wife.
Yes, I do.
And 2 children.
I hope she's still there when I go back.
That's great. So let's put our hands together to welcome our state.
Thank you guys. Dick was having multiple heart attacks right here in the front row. What if it doesn't work? And BK, your slides are wonderful. Thank you so much. Those of you who operate the camera, I'm going to be walking outside of the camera range. I don't know if you want to take draw me now, or maybe, but I'm not going to stand here. Is that all right if I'm not tethered? Even if you say no, I'm doing it anyway. Ready? Here we go. You have to understand, you give a microphone and a video camera to an overgrown adolescent. So it'll be highly entertaining. I got to tell you, I'm so grateful to be among you. So many of you said, we talked about some of the major topics in education. It's been such a blast. But I have to tell you, I learned everything that I need to know about teaching the first 10 minutes of the first class I ever taught. I was teaching grade 8, or 8th grade, which is a unique beast. And I had a wobbly wooden podium, right? But it was in the front of the room, and I was trying to establish my authority. I was 21 years old trying to establish my authority. I looked barely older than the students I was serving. And in that first few moments, you see, I called roll. In our school district, it might be like yours, but it's last name, comma, first name. So there it was. Those of you remember back in the classroom when you were first teaching, think about this. You call it, you want to establish authority? So here we go. William Adams. Is there William Adams in the room? That narrator MC voice. And this kid in the back goes, that's Billy? Billy? Make that change. And I jumped out from behind the podium. I walked all over to his desk and said, hey, Billy, I'm Mr. Wormeli. You're going to have a great year. It was like teacher geekoid to the max, okay? I went back to the podium, and there was the second name there. Ready? Here it is. Anthony Cavalletti. Anthony Cavalletti. Is there Anthony Cavalletti in the room? And this guy in the way back goes, no, it's Tony. I said, oh, Tony, like Tony Danza. Now you know when I first started teaching, Taxi had just premiered. So I stepped out behind the podium, I went over to Tony, go, hey, Tony, I'm Mr. Wormeli. You're going to have a great year. I was out of control. I went back to the third name, and this is why I learned all of it in the third name. You see, this is the last name. Now I looked at that and I think there are 3 ways to pronounce that. Think about it. It could be Dutch, like the word such, no problem. Then it could be duck, like a hard K sound for the CH, kind of a weird name for rural farming community, Virginia, where I was teaching. Duck, but not bad. Okay, we have a lot of families coming from Cambodia and Laotian families and so on. Maybe this is just some of the family problem. I'm okay. But I'm not sure I do it. I don't want to make a faux pas, so I look up, trying to find the face of the child whose name it is, to see if maybe I can get a clue. Oh, it's good. And I realize there's a child grinning, not just ear to ear, but all the way around to his head. He knows his name is next. Now the whole class is looking at him, looking at me, looking at him, looking at me. They know his name is next. Oh, but it's very clear looking at his facial features, his hair and so on, it looks like he's from Cambodia. So the proper pronunciation is duck. I'm safe, no worries, we're okay. At that point, I looked at the first name and realized there were so many other professions I could have chosen. Really? Okay, remember, I'm naive. I'm not used to different people's names. It could be David or Todd or something. No. So I'm like, so think phonetically. I'm simple-minded, okay? And I turn to the class and Oh, Mama, don't make me say this. Okay, and there's this child, he's looking at me like, what are you going to do now? And the kids are passing bets, he's going to do it, he's going to do it, he's going to do it. Mr. Duck, are you Mr. Duck? Please, Mr. Duck. And the class together, they came together and said, it's Fu, the sea is silent. Oh, thank God. Do that. You're going to have a good year. Now so am I. And here's what I learned that day. It's not adversarial. I don't need to get them before they get me. I just need to realize they're out for my success as much as I'm out for theirs. I wasn't really awful, but I wasn't really good, but the kids kept me from being terrible that very first year because it's a collaboration to do this thing called school. I go to a conference, and some researcher says, you have to do this. Students have to have daily opportunity to define who they are. All right, gentlemen, ladies, if you're multiplying binomials, define yourself. I don't know how to do it, but research says you should. I've lost count at the number of classes that have not failed to rise. All the kids, they come to my aid if we do it as a collaboration, not us doing it to them, but doing schooling with them. And that's one of the first steps I found in trying to be brave. If you'd like to have a follow-up conversation, or if you want to tweet live, it's really okay. There's the Twitter for me if you want me to see it, or if you want to follow up, there's the email address. It's in all the handouts. So even if you don't come to the workshops I do later, or did yesterday, you can download them for free, and you'll get all the contact information. Moving on. This is a picture of my son Ryan between 7th and 8th grade. We do national parks in the US and Canada every single year. We're a big national park family. This is outside of Moab, Utah. It's in Canyonlands where they filmed 127 Hours, the Aaron Ralston story, starring James Franco. Some of you have seen that or read the book. We climbed to the top of this ridge, and Ryan said, Dad, take me a picture. This is awesome. So I did. Ladies and gentlemen, the next photo you see is the same human creature 1 year later, the next family vacation. Ladies and gentlemen, before, after. Before and after. The attitude there, really dad, really another photo. I mean, gravity's strong, we're over water, you do the math, okay? Don't take the photo. Okay, what works with this child will not work with that child. It qualifies you for Mensa Society to keep up with the modern child. I get some idea, it works for 3 weeks, then it doesn't work for 7 weeks, then it works like 10 weeks later. Go figure. And thank you for you, I only have 2 children, otherwise we'd be here a long time showing family photos. This is my daughter Lynn, and you have to understand, if she were in the room right now, she'd be in a fetal position on the floor. No, she is quite introverted. Really soft-spoken. People say in the report cards, what does her voice sound like? It's April. I don't know what her voice sounds like. But right there, doesn't she look outgoing, energized, extroverted? Yeah. But would you know that she's intensely analytical when she is so quiet? Or she's sitting in front of you in her soccer jersey or whatever uniform that you might have. She's intensely analytical, like she's done SimCity, SimEarth, Design Your Own Railroad, Design Your Own Park. She's taken every single AP course available in computer science in Northern Virginia. She's really gone way out there, and now she's studying engineering, GIS, Geographical Information Systems, the School of Engineering at Virginia Tech. But would you know that? And one of the things that strikes me is this: you can't teach blind to the students you serve, and you can't lead blind to the teachers you serve. We have to really know them. You know, it's like, I'm going to differentiate professional development, not just tell teachers to differentiate. It's a new idea. But actions speak louder than words. Now, my family is into the marching band quite a bit. If you want to talk more about that, that's fine. You just have to understand where I'm coming from. I'm a band parent. Don't mess with me. But understand that every time I look through the course of the successful teachers, it was the teachers who honored the school district's policies or the school's particular philosophy, but parted ways as necessary to live up to the promise. We teach everyone, not necessarily just the easiest ones. The school tends to be set up just for the kid who gets it first. Anybody needs more or less or different, school conspires against it. I'm thinking of all this, and very early in my career with family, my kids were 2 and 3 years old, I had a lot of members of Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13, a violent gang in our community, and we have affiliates of the Crips and the Bloods in our community. So I had gang members in my class. And I had a pretty good relationship with a particularly violent gang member, but he respected me, and I worked with him as patient, and I actually enjoyed conversations with him, even though he had this troubling other part of his life. And I turned to him one time and I said, you know, there are certain McDonald's restaurants in our community where I can't take my children in there if they're wearing blue, because that's flashing that gang's colors. And then I can't go play in certain playgrounds, or if I tuck my child's pant leg into the sock, because I don't want to get caught in some bicycle spoke or whatever it was. We can't do that because that's a sign of flashing, a particular gang's territorial sign. Why should I have to worry in the same community in which I teach about my children's treatment by gang members in the community? And here's what he said. He said, Mr. W, gangs are only as strong as the town lets them be. If you all rose up together, we'd be nothing, but you don't rise, so we are here. And I went, whoa, what could we do if we were brave together? So I went to the police department with a group of other teachers, and in every single neighborhood, we've supplied all these different neighborhoods with sandblasters. If the gangs put up their tagging, declare their territory, we removed it within 24 hours. We will outlast, outplay, outsurvive, outwit you as we do this. And we started closing down the gangs when we did it together. We created a coalition of elementary, middle, and high schools to do it. And it gave us strength. We decided we can stiffen our spine and really take this if we were brave together. So I'm struck by proof rock. Do I dare disturb the universe? Some of you know this wonderful artist who does these street paintings, and it's just a painting, but they had actors and people kind of lean over like it was, showed depth. Do I dare disturb the universe? That's interesting. Many times teachers are told what to do, how to do, when to do, and they don't develop a sense of autonomy. And we need to cultivate that as much as we can. The greatest compass rose we have is Doctor Who.